Life events. Life events.
Hello, I'm doing signs for birth. So for birth, you get both your hands out like so, let them past your stomach and raise them up. So birth. And that's the same sign for the word born. Born, birth. For congratulations, you put two thumbs up next to each other and you rub them. Congratulations. Congratulations. Feel free to put a happy face on to show your enthusiasm. Congratulations. For baby, you pretend to hold a baby using both your arms. So baby, baby. For it's a boy and it's a girl, we don't do a sign for it's a, so we'll just do boy and girl. So for boy, get your index finger, your dominant hand, and then bring it on the side of your chin. Boy. Boy. And for girl, rub the side of your cheek. Girl. Girl. For it's a boy and it's a girl. For birthday, we'll do the signs for birth and day. So for birth, you do birth, birth, as we just said. And then for day, you would put both your hands together like so, one in front of the other, and open the curtains. Day. Birth, day. And for I was born on a day, we'll do 15th of March 2022, because that's the date we had the session. So we'll do I was born the 15th of March, MCH, 2022. And then the BSL variant of that, because we know sentence structure is a thing, we'll do the timeline first. So that'd be 15th of March, MCH, 2022. And then the subject, I, and then the verb, born. We won't go too much into sentence structure today because that's for a later session, but just know that they exist. For pregnant, what we'll do is we have our hand out in front of us and we bring it outwards like a baby bump. So pregnant, pregnant. I was born at home and hospital. Also sentence structure. I won't go into the variants for it. I was born, and at hospital, what you do is you get your thumb to your shoulder and you draw a cross. Hospital. I was born at hospital. And I was born at home. For home, you put both your hands together and create a roof. Home. Home. Due date, what you do is for due, you put your hand on top of the other. So your dominant hand on top of the non-dominant hand. Due. And then for date, get your dominant hand into a fist onto your chin. Date. Due date. And then I was early, late, and on time. So for I was early, you get your non-dominant hand out, dominant hand on top, and then slide your hand up your arm. So early. The way you can remember this is that you were before the set time. So you were early. Early. For late, hold your hand out again, your non-dominant hand. Get your dominant index finger and make it brush against and pass your non-dominant hand. Late. So you were past the set time, you were late. For on time, what you do is you do the sign for on, which is the same for due, which is a little confusing. So on, and then time, you point at where your imaginary watch would be on your non-dominant hand. Time. So on time. So that would be I was early, I was late, and I was on time. For I was planned and I was an accident, what you would do is for planned, you go I was planned, so hold out your non-dominant hand, and your index finger and middle finger basically cross and turn. So I was planned. And for accident, what you do is hold up your dominant hand to your head and kind of like claw at it a little bit, like you got hit on the head, like an accident. Accident. So I was planned, and I was an accident. For twins, what you do is like splitting the egg in the biological terms, if you will. And for twins, you would hold both your hands together and you would split them apart. Twins. Twins. For identical, what you do is hold up both your index fingers and then the side of them hit together. Identical. Identical. For non-identical, you do non-identical. So you just put non in front of it, so non-identical. For I weighed, you go I, and then weighed is using both your hands like scales, so weighed. For pounds and ounces, you would just spell out the symbol for both of those. So for pounds, it's LBS, which is LBS, so that's pounds, pounds. For ounces, it's OZ, so you do OZ, ounces. And for brother and sister, what you do is you rub both your fists together for brother. This is congratulations with thumbs up, and then this is brother, so don't get confused. Then for sister, what you do is you get your index finger on your dominant hand hooked and rub against your nose twice. Sister, sister. Then for oldest, middle, youngest, and only child, what you do is oldest, you'll do oldest, oldest. So this is the sign for old. You get your index finger, middle finger, and then claw away from your eyes. Old, and then oldest is oldest. So you're saying it's like the most old. Oldest. So oldest, and then child is you hold your hand out kind of lower from you, like a small child is standing next to you. So oldest child. And then for middle, what you do is you would get your non-dominant hand out and put it in the middle of your non-dominant hand with your dominant hand's middle finger. So middle, middle, lots of middle going on. Middle child. For youngest, you just do letter Y, youngest child. And then for only child, you hold your non-dominant hand out, and then with dominant hand index finger, you go under it and up. Only. This is the same sign for the word lonely. So only child. That's oldest child, middle child, youngest child, and only child. And then for time porn, the last one, you would do time, which if you remember on time is pointing at the imaginary watch, time, and then born, which is born. Time, born.
So I'm going to be going through some childhood signs. So childhood is like this child, and then they're growing up, so childhood. And then children, and then nursery, you get like 2 peace signs and rub them against your collarbones. Nursery. School, and then secondary school, primary school, and then walk, so you just kind of walk on your palm, and then talk, which is this, talk, first tooth, or first word. And then friends, you shake your wrist together, friends. And then play, and then learn. And then dress up, you do this twice, dress up. Teddy bear's a really cute one, you kind of hug yourself like this, teddy bear. And then dolls, and cars, you kind of pretend you're playing with a car like this. Dinosaur, you pretend you're a dinosaur. Outside, sports, swimming, and then drawing is like this, and painting is the same. And then create, you get like 2 circles and you kind of create, and there you go.
So now I'm going to go through with you some signs about adolescence. So adolescence and teenager are the same sign. So you sort of do a 4 in front of your face and grab it down, like scratch down. So adolescence, teenager. College and university are also the same. So you point to your temples and move them in front. So college, university. Learning to drive. So learning, you grab at your head twice, I guess. And then drive, pretend you've got a wheel. So learning to drive, learning to drive. Dating, you punch your chin twice, so dating. First love is first, then love, so first love. Relationships, you connect your fingers together in like a chain and move it around. Relationships. Emotions, you rub your chest. Emotions. Heartbreak, you hold your heart and then break. Heart, break. Part-time, you sort of slice your palm. So part-time work. Full-time work is full-time work. Full-time work. House parties, so that's house parties. House parties. Spots, you sort of make a fist on your index. Spots. Exam, you sort of rub your palm this way with index and middle finger. Exams. Exams. For pub, you pull a pint. Pub. Pub. Club is C. Club. Alcohol, we learnt this in food and drinks, so you sort of swirl around your drink. Alcohol. And then ID is just spelling, so I-D. I-D.
So we're going to be learning some signs about adulthood. So the first sign will be graduate. Graduate, you get both your hands in the thumb up position, put them together, swoop down like in this sort of motion, and then pretend you're drawing a scroll. So graduate. Graduate. Engaged is putting the ring on the finger, so engaged. And married is you put the ring on the finger and then cement it, so married. Have children. Have is you pretend that you're grabbing it from the sky, so have. And then children is pretend that you're like saying, I have this many kids, so I have a child, I have 2 children, I have 3 kids, etc. Career is the same as work from previous videos, and like job. So you put your non-dominant hand out and then do it by the syllables. So career, career. Pay the bills. So you get your non-dominant hand and using your dominant hand, swipe it. So pay, and then bills is you also get your non-dominant hand out and then pretend like you're drawing like the bill, so you're like signing it off. So pay the bills. Rent, put your non-dominant hand out flat and then put your other hand in a fist and then go rent 3 times. So rent, rent. Now we're doing another sign called buy a house. Buy is you get your non-dominant hand and with your thumb from your dominant hand, it cut off your fingers. So buy, buy, and then you draw like the roof and then the house, like on the walls. So house. So buy a house. Adopt a pet. Adopt has 2 signs, but I'm going to use my preference. You're going to pretend that there is something here, and then you're going to grab it and put it against your heart. So adopt, adopt. And then pet is pretend, put your non-dominant hand in a fist and then stroke. So pet, so adopt a pet. Responsibility is you put both of your hands on one shoulder and then push it down. So responsibility, responsibility.
Marriage. Bride, groom, dress, cake, music, dance, happy, family, food, love, and honeymoon.
retirement, bird watching, puzzle, baking, slippers, grandchildren, proud, achievement, knowledge, retirement, bird watching, puzzle, baking, slippers, grandchildren, proud, achievement, knowledge.
Hello, I'm going to be doing signs for deaf. So for deaf, you hold up your index finger and your middle finger, both your hands, bring it up in front of you, and then point them down. Deaf. Deaf. For funeral, get both your hands together and create a V shape and make them move downwards. So funeral. It's like the coffin being lowered, so funeral. For sorry for your loss, there's 3 words for this. So sorry is your fist on your chest. Sorry, your is your fist out to the person you're talking to. So sorry for your. And then loss, you would have both hands together and pretend to drop something. So loss. Sorry for your loss. To remember your, you can maybe do this. So your is fist outwards, you is pointing outwards, me is pointing to yourself, and my is fist to yourself. So same as sorry, but you don't move it. So that's a way to remember your. For rest in peace, you just spell R-I-P. So that would be R-I-P. R-I-P. Rest in peace. For church, you pretend to ring the church bell, so you have both hands together and you pull down on the rope. So church. Church. For mosque, what you would do is you have your non-dominant hand out in a fist and you put a C on top of it. So it's sort of like the moon on top of the building. So mosque. Mosque. For synagogue, you get your both hands together and then you cross them together and extend the fingers out. So synagogue. Synagogue. For temple, have your index finger and middle finger up, point towards each other and do speech marks. So temple. Temple. For monastery, what you do is double M. So the letter M is 3 fingers on your non-dominant hand. Monastery. So double tap M. Monastery. And then for heaven, what you do is that you would raise the stairs up above your head and then draw out the floor. So it's like you're drawing the stairway to heaven. Heaven.
We're now going to talk about describing a person. So you would say born where? Born where? And then if you wanted to be specific, you would point at you or the person you're talking about. And then when were they born would be born when? Born or they when? And then how was their childhood? You'd say childhood, their how. So childhood, point of person, so childhood, their how. Teenage years would be the same, so teenage, and then their how, and adulthood, how. And then what is their best feature? Like if you're talking about like their hair or their nose is their best feature, I don't know. So the best feature, it would be feature best, their what? So it would be feature best, their what? Feature